Let's start, let's start the evening's program with a short introduction to Avid. Fosters creative learning across literature, culture, heritage, and art, including visual, performing, and applied arts, through short-term workshops, discussion forums, and other programs. Today's discussion between Marc-Andre Roy and Yuki Elias is brought to you by Avid Learning in association with Teamwork Productions, Time Out India, and Studio X. Mark, welcome to India and thank you for bringing such a great opportunity for the diverse and talented people of my country. Yuki, special thanks to you and all the partners for putting together this session. Yuki is a performer, teacher, movement director and filmmaker. She has trained in movement-based theatre from Jacques Lecoq's School of Theatre in Paris and is trained pedagogue from the London International School of Performing Arts. As an actress, she has performed in UK, US, Canada, Australia, Italy and India. She played Hermia in the highly acclaimed production of A Midsummer's Night Dream at the Royal Shakespeare Company and the Roundhouse, London. She was the movement director for the UK's leading opera company, Opera North, on their production of Maud's Magic Flute. Her debut feature film as a co-writer and actress won an Audience Choice Award and also the Royal Reel Award. Marc is the artistic talent scout at Cirque Du Soleil and also a physical actor and a puppeteer himself. Marc, please tell us more about yourself and begin this much awaited session.
Thank you. Well, welcome. I'm sorry. I can sit. Well, okay.
Sit.
Okay. I'm really happy to be here today doing this lecture. I'm the acting scout at Cirque Du Soleil, so I'm working at the casting department. It's a big department because we have a lot of shows and we have a lot of work to do. And my background, of course, was an actor and a puppeteer for many years, for 20 years. So I was a physical actor, I was a mime. I was a regular actor at TV as well, but I've decided 5 years ago to join Cirque Du Soleil as a casting agent, casting scout, and and I continue to do some puppet work as well, to do some workshop. I'm a teacher at the University in Montreal for puppet works, so I'm still trying to always have a part of my activity in artistic. But my job at Cirque is very artistic as well, you will see. Came here in India for the first time. It's my first coming in India. And I will explain to you later during this talk why I'm here. When am I here? So, yes. So,
I'm really excited that Mark's come down. Oh, my microphone is really loud. Is that better? Yeah.
it's okay.
We're really happy because, I think the service is important. Life is hard for all of us and we get stuck in so many nitty-gritty things and then every day and I think as we grow older, I'm not that old, but, I think our sense of wonder seems to develop a cataract. And just at that time, I think when the circus comes to town, it gives us all an opportunity to feel that sense of wonder again. And the circus family, they provide us with the opportunity to see the human body, the human mind, the human imagination, like pushed to such limits and such beauty and such power, and it gives us hope. and it gives us wonder and beauty. And I think the circus brings us that sense of wonder, and that is a gift. It's a gift that they bring to us. And so it's great that Mark's here, and even though we can't see Cirque Du Soleil yet in India for ourselves, this is an exploration and this is a journey into their world, and some of that magic and wonder.
Cirque Du Soleil is touring around the world. They were playing this year some shows in the Philippines, in Indonesia, in Dubai, in Lebanon, in Egypt, so we're trying very much to go everywhere. And I know that there's a great willing to come in India, so we probably will have a show in the next years or so, I'm sure. But me, the idea is coming is to find some actors. In the casting department, I'm this acting scout. So I'm looking really specifically for actors. There are artist scouts that are looking for acrobats, other scouts that are looking for musicians, singers, dancers, circus art, whatever. I'm specialized in acting and clowning. So these are the artists I'm looking for. And I came here to have audition tomorrow and Wednesday. We are having 2 full days of audition where we are inviting the best physical actors in Mumbai. Bombay. Yeah, Mumbai, for Mumbaikers, right?
Mumbaikers.
So yeah, so let me talk a little bit about Cirque du Soleil. Some of you may have seen some show live, or maybe some of you have seen it on TV or on YouTube. There's a lot of link in YouTube of everything that was produced by Cirque du Soleil. But for some people that maybe don't know Cirque du Soleil, this is a little introduction of what it is. So those 3 names, those 3 words are really important for us at Cirque du Soleil. It's mainly our leitmotif. You will see invoke, provoke, and evoke. So Cirque du Soleil is dedicated to the creation, production, and performance of artistic works that are designed to invoke the imagination, provoke the senses, and evoke the emotion of people. So those 3 sentence words are really important. With something that is really undescriptible, it's the wow factor. We're always looking for wow factor.
Not the X factor.
No, the wow. The wow. People have to say wow. If people say wow, we have a success. We are really proud of us. If people won't say wow, we have a problem. So we're always focusing our work on the wow factor. So Cirque du Soleil is a new company. Well, part of new companies. It was started in 1984 in Quebec City. In Quebec City, it's the capital of the Quebec state, la province de Québec. We are the French part. That's why my accent is so strong. I'm speaking French normally. But we are from the French part, Montreal, and this company, Cirque du Soleil, was started in 1984 just for one event. We had a big occasion in Quebec City in 1984. It was the 350 anniversary of the discovery of Canada by Jacques Cartier. You in India, you have thousand years of history. We are a new country. We only have like 400 years of history, and we have to make a big party out of it. Anyway, but in 1984, Guy Laliberté, one of the co-founders of Cirque du Soleil, has this idea to create a company based to make a circus show. And this was really new for us because we have no circus tradition in Quebec, in Canada whatsoever. We never had circus before. We have some Barnum and Bailey company, you know, the circus, American circus that were coming for doing some big top shows or Christmas shows in Montreal, but that was it. So they decided to create a circuit just based on performance and arts. And so in the beginning it was a small company based in Baie-Saint-Paul. It's a little village north of Quebec. And they were street street actors. They were playing on the street, so they were giving a lot of shows during the summer. There were a bunch of young people, hippies, and this is the type of show they were doing. So still talking in front of a large audience outside, and then they created Cirque Du Soleil just for that year, 1984, for the summer. But it was successful. It was one of the only things that works on that year and that we party in Quebec City. And everyone wanted to see Cirque Du Soleil. It was really new, and it was really successful at that time. And this is one of the creators of Cirque Du Soleil, Gilles Saint-Croix, which is also still working with us at Cirque. It was his character, and he walks from Saint-Paul to Quebec City, which is about 150 kilometers, 200 kilometers on stilts, just promoting the show that is coming to Quebec. So when they arrived in Quebec, everybody was knowing about that show, so everybody wants to see. They had already a good sense of publicity, and it's a company that always takes a lot of risk. So this was a big risk to take, but it was really paid for. So, but now in 2012, what is Cirque Du Soleil? So it's, let's go. We have 21 shows in performance. We had more. We were around 25 shows, but we had to stop some. I may explain to you why we had to change. We have to stop some shows. But we have 21 shows. We have more than 1,300 artists playing every night for us. We have 50 nationalities working at Cirque Du Soleil. It's really like a United Nation. We have 25 languages that are spoken. So when we are creating a show, there's an armada of translators working with us. We have around 5,000 employees. So imagine an artist company having 5,000 employees. It's kind of amazing. We visit more than 300 cities since 1984. 15 million of people will see a show just this year, a show of Cirque Du Soleil. It's about the population of Mumbai, more or less.
It's less than the population.
It's less than the population of Mumbai. Yeah, and more than 100 million spectators since 1984. And it's about 10 years is the average of a show. But it is very different. Now, this December in Montreal, Saltimbanco will come back to Montreal for the 4th time, I think. And they will close the show now in December after 20 years of touring. So Saltimbanco is our oldest show. It opened all the new markets, but India will be opened by the other show. So this is Cirque Du Soleil. We have many resident shows. We have, like right now, we have 7 shows in Las Vegas. We are creating right now in Montreal. We are in the process of creation of the number 8. It will be on Michael Jackson music and imagination. So it will be a permanent show in the Mandalay Bay Hotel. So it's going to be 8 shows in Vegas. We had to stop this year. We have a big show on Elvis Presley called Viva Elvis, but we just stopped the show and we removed it to another show. This is Zarkana. Zarkana is a brand new show in Vegas as well. It was a show created for the Radio City Music Hall in New York, but it was so big, it was really hard to tour that show. It was a touring show, but you know, Radio City Music Hall has 6,000 seats. It's immense, so it's really hard to feel with a show this. We got a great success, but it was impossible to stay more than 6 months in New York, and it's impossible to tour that show, so we decided to put a permanent show in Vegas, but it's a wonderful Cirque Du Soleil show. And we have a show in Orlando, Florida, and in Los Angeles we have Iris. It's a wonderful show about cinema and circus. And we have our show in Big Top, in Big Tent. Varica is our older one. Varica is now touring in South America. Portero is in Europe. Kuzai is in Japan. Ovo and Totem and Amaluna are touring in the United States, but Ovo is going to Japan really soon. Amaluna is our last show. We created that show last summer in Montreal in 2012, and it was a show about it's a show about women. So 75% of the cast is women, are women. The artists, all the circus arts are women. The band is women. The two clowns are women. The director was a woman. So it was a statement by Cirque Du Soleil, by Glenn Liberté, to have a woman show. So it's really interesting to have that type of show. Yeah. And we have our old shows like Kidam, Alegria, Saltimbanco that are still touring in arena. Like it means arena is inside stadium, big stadium where we can present those shows. And with those shows we can go in smaller because we don't have to stay months and months and months doing this show. And we have Valiant and Michael Jackson, the first Michael Jackson show, Immortal show that is touring now in the United States. So let's see. For some of you that never yet, you just step. Can you put it full screen? In that few minutes, you've seen all. We have some images of really all the shows that we have. So you can see the aesthetic that we're having, the type of performance that we're having. We have the best circus artists on the world, the best jugglers, the best dancers, the best singers, the best clowns. Everything is so great. The costumes work is impressive. There's about 800 persons working permanently in Montreal just for doing the costume, the props, and the. So it's really, and the detail that we're having on our costumes is impressive.
We evolved to have a team of not just performers creating the show, but you had technology coming in a big way. And how did that happen? Who the artistic directors and decided, okay, it's time we start working with technology, we start working with design teams and innovators to create this space. And it's a new aesthetics, because you're pushing the limits of aesthetics as well, not just the performance.
Yeah, well, from the beginning, Guy Laliberté, the owner, it's a private company. We have one owner, and this is his company. At the beginning, he was a dropout. He was a guy, he didn't finish a secondary school. You know, he dropped out and he didn't want to go to school. And so he went on the streets of Europe and he was hitchhiking and he met a lot of great people there. He met a lot of artists, street artists, and he started to breathe fire that way, just on the street, traveling all around. And he was fascinated by the Chinese circus. And he was fascinated by what's so-called the new circus that was emerging in Europe at that time. We're talking about the late 70s, the early 80s. In Paris and Europe, we had what we call the new circus, based on performance, pure performance, trying to get away from the tradition. So he was influenced by that. Coming back in Montreal, in Quebec, this guy was from Montreal, but he went to Quebec. He went with that bunch of artists, and he has to have the idea of creating Cirque Du Soleil. So So at the beginning it was a little small troupe, but it has everything that is now making Cirque du Soleil. Innovation, physicality, emotion, live music, live singers, funny clowns and funny work, and all this recipe was there at the beginning. But it's the way the theater was working in Montreal at that time. Collective creation. We take the idea of everyone and we put that together on the stage. Then came Franco Dragon. Franco Dragon was one of the early directors at Cirque. He creates Saltimbanco, Alegria, Kidam, O, La Nuba. All the big success of the early Cirque du Soleil years of direct by Franco with the same team of the costume director, the set designer, the music. It was always done by the same team. And what helped a lot Cirque du Soleil is like in 1988 or 89, around there, I don't remember. I wasn't at Cirque at that time. But they were invited in Santa Monica, in California, to perform in a new festival, a new art festival that was taking place in Santa Monica. In that moment, it was a really small company. They were touring small towns around Montreal. They were not international at all. But they decided, since the beginning, they decided not to work in a language. They decided to work with an invented language. Not to have a song in French or in English, but in invented language. So at that point, they were ready for covering the planet, because everybody can feel something. It was really visual. It was not about telling story. It was about giving emotion to the people. So they were invited in Santa Monica, and they went. But they know that they put all the money they have in the trucks to take the props over there, without knowing if they will come back. If they will succeed, they will come back. If they will fail, they will close the company. So it was another bet of the liberty. And they went there, and they put the chapiteau they had at that time, the top they have, on the piers of Santa Monica, near the ocean. And it was frankly, it was a big success instantly. And they knew they had something really strong when they saw all those Hollywood stars making the line in the afternoon to buy a ticket to see Cirque du Soleil. Because Cirque du Soleil always has its own ticket counters, or they've never been, it's impossible to buy a ticket outside Cirque du Soleil anyway. But when they saw that, they said, well, we got something there. And they were discovered by the major American companies like MGM, Grand, like Walt Disney, so that's opened a lot of doors. That's when it became the first show in Vegas instead, and then and then, and then. So that brings a lot of money to the company, and a lot of possibility of innovation. That's where they come with COP, which has an immense stage that is running all around, and it's impressive. The show is brilliant. It's technically wonderful. And it forced her to be an avant-garde of new equipment, new way. Michael Jackson show in Montreal, that they are training in Montreal, it blowing me up when I saw the rehearsing, because I can't talk. It's impossible for me to say that now, and I would say nothing from my because I saw it. But there will be a lot of innovation in that show, I can tell you. We have to push that a lot at Cirque du Soleil. We have to create new equipment, new circus arts. We always have to create, to innovate all the time. Yeah, it's great.
What would be an example of a new circus art that you created out of Cirque du Soleil?
In the Maluna, the last show in the Maluna, they create, in gymnastic for women, we have the asymmetric bars. It's a discipline, okay? It's a gymnastic discipline. So we put the gymnast, and you may know, they changed the asymmetric bars in the early or end of 90s. Before they were, I cannot explain, but before they were that size, and now they are that size. But it's different. I don't remember which one is the old system, but they decided to put the two systems on the stage. So we have the new asymmetric bar and the old asymmetric bars, and they create an act out of that. We call that the Amazon. So there are 9 or 10 old gymnasts, they were former gymnasts, that we trained as an artist, and now they are performing this gymnastic number, and we create a circus number out of that. So this is an example of the way of where we're going with the art athletes and with the artists. Can you just... Okay, great. Yeah, please. Yeah, so really quickly, my work is to seek out and hire talent. So I have to, that's why I'm doing audition around the world. I was in Berlin, this year I was in Buenos Aires, last year I was in Rio. My colleague is in Vienna right now in a Women Clown Festival. So we are trying to reach the world for finding the talents. People are sending us also a lot of their application as well, but we have to go where the talent is, where the talents are. Yeah. And also we have, at Cirque Du Soleil, we are creating training programs. Of course, the acrobat scouts, their job is to go on the competition, gymnastic competition, trampoline competition, and to interest the athletes of another career after their athletic career. So we try to bring them to Cirque Du Soleil. And then when they are with us, we train them as an artist. Otherwise, we don't have enough of people coming to Cirque because we have so many needs that we are training our own acrobats. It's all the time really high level acrobats. Maybe not the gold medal at the Olympics because they don't need to come, but maybe someone who finished 6th, you know, really good. But and they don't think about Cirque Du Soleil first because after the career they think they can become a trainer or whatever. They don't. So we have to convince them that they have a career. And when they come, they are really happy because they can perform many years after their end of the career because they can. But at Cirque it's much more easier than a competition, but it's still really a performance, and they have fun and they can.
And Mark, if you're a gymnast or an athlete that you pull out for the circus, do they need to have some kind of performance skill, which is not based on their skill, but like a theatrical background, or do they need to know how to connect with an audience, or do you have to work with them on those things?
We have to work with them when we are scouting them. I don't talk about me, but we have the acrobatic scouts when you're scouting. Of course, they would take maybe not the best one, but the more artistic one. So already the one that is more, have an artistic stance in their competitivity or whatever. So they have to have this eye. But when we bring them in Montreal for the general formation, they will stay between 3 and 5 months, and they will be trained. So they will have dance class, acting class, music class, because we know a Russian acrobat. So we have to relax a little bit and to give them some dancing skills and having fun doing that. And then, at the end they're just like, you know, if we get it, they get it.
And there must be some difference because they're otherwise a very competitive spirit as athletes. And when you come to the circus, is it like something like yours? It's not so competitive because you're working towards one goal.
And everybody needs everybody to work. On the circus show, 75 artists are on the show. It can be singers, dancers, musicians, acrobats, circus artists, clowns, actors, everywhere. And they're all working together. So, because they have all their cue on stage, but they have all the cue backstage as well. They have to open door, they have to hold the cord, they have, they are working a lot backstage because everything is done by everyone. Okay, there's no star at Cirque Du Soleil. There's no name at Cirque Du Soleil. It's Cirque Du Soleil, and everybody has to be part of the troupe. So this is really important. So So there's many languages as well, so you have to be able to work with the Chinese and Russian and American and all around the world. So the language of Cirque Du Soleil on tour, on the show, is English. So everybody has to learn English. Even if we speak French at Montreal headquarters, all the artists that are coming to have their training at Cirque, they have to learn English. So we have English teachers. Because a guy from Ulaanbaatar that is coming and just speak, don't speak, maybe a little bit of Russian or Chinese, but that's it. And they have to train in English, because when they're going to be on the tour, all the direction, all the cues, are done in English. So it's another part really interesting and important. So let's talk about this really quickly about the casting department. So we have acrobatic and artistic talent scouting, acrobatic performance and training. So in our near us at casting department, we have a trainer. We have an armada of trainers, artistic trainers, acrobatic trainers, and we work together because, of course, when we receive an actor, they want to see how it was in audition. They want to know them better. So they will ask us thousands of questions, and we're going to work together with the trainer to develop the artists when they're coming in Montreal. Of course, we have the training, we have the auditions, like I'm going to do tomorrow, some auditions here in Montreal. We have the CRIP, the Center of Research of Innovation. This is the part of Cirque Du Soleil that inventing the new props, inventing the new acrobatic tools. So we work with universities in Montreal, with engineers to try to develop all the circuit. Let's go further. Yeah, let's see that. So this is another video that is showing just the characters' work, just the personage, actors or cast. It's another one. It's about the same. So some others characters. Some we already saw, but others like. Comes the time of a replacement, they want to have a choice among some artists. And of course, even the clowns' work, really clowns' work, are so particular work and important work at Cirque. Sometimes we can take other clowns to replace them. But sometimes we go with the physical actors, because it's hard for a clown to put in the shoes of another clown. They're always going to want to do their clowny stuff. So this is really hard. So sometimes some artistic directors are allowed to change the clown act. This happens sometimes. But normally they want to keep the act like as it is. So that's why we are searching for good physical actors, because for them, they can put the shoes of the clown and they will be more than happy to do their routine, to learn their routine. But we know we need people that are extremely performant and extremely have a lot of experience, because they have to do 300 times a year the same routine, because we're playing 300 times the show, sometimes twice a day during years. So it's really hard to have it inside, to be able to have enough creation to always renew your right in the show. Otherwise you become a automatic pilot, and this is not good for a Cirque show.
Mark, I wanted to know about your show.
Yeah.
When you're creating them, is that like, do they sit down and they have a vision and they have a theme, and accordingly you go out and look for your talent and cast? Is the theme very strong in the beginning, or is that also devised along the process with your performance?
This nice and it depends on every creator, because after Franco, when Franco left the company, we decided that Cirque, to every show we have his own creation team.
Okay.
So that's why we are engaging different creators from around the world. We put a circus director as well, and they create a show. So sometimes they know exactly what they want, but sometimes, and most of the time they don't know. Because the creation process in Montreal, in the headquarters, is based, we still keep the same idea of collective creation.
Right.
So we need great creators in all levels, because they will create a show all together. It can take 6 months, it can take 8 months in Montreal, and the work before, the casting work, is an inspiration work. So, like for example, I have I'm working now for Cirque 2014, the next touring show. We have present a lot of, and they want to give, you know, the idea, they have an aesthetic, an idea, they want to visit some, they have some ideas that they are telling us, the casting, and then we present artists that are representing a little bit their ideas. So we present clowns, actors, different type, and there are people that they know they maybe have a wish list of 50, I don't remember how much, but maybe 10 were accepted. So they are thinking about that, of them, and they're going to create their show about those people. So that's why I said, all done, I'm going to India, so maybe I will come back with a great prospect. So they are waiting for me in Montreal after the Christmas in January. I will do my edit of people I will find tomorrow and the other day. And if there's one really great actors or really funny or really something, I will present them, and they may choose this actor for the next creation. So they will build the character around this new person. So
when you've been scouting for a long time, so say just clowns or physical actors, let's go with just clowns, and you go and you're scouting for clowns in America or Russia or China or Japan, and culturally, are there different clowns?
yes, of course.
And how then do you select, and how do you work with the cultural differences in the clowns, and how do you bring them together? I mean, it must be fun to be able to have a whole bunch to work with.
Sometimes it's done by workshops. So we try to bring in Montreal some of the best ones that were scouted or that were chosen for the new creation. We bring them in Montreal and they work together for 3 days, 4 days a week. And then they can see the chemistry in between them or not, or with whom they prefer to work. So that's a good way with they do that mainly with the clowns and actors. So they bring them in Montreal, they work together, and then they do better. Instead of having a specific audition, we prefer to work with all, put together, and then we know which one are the best one or the most creative one, because you have to be a really great creator when you're coming at Cirque. Even if you're a replacement, they need some good creators as well. They don't need someone that will just learn how to do it, and you know, they need someone that will bring the characters somewhere else. Maybe more clowny, more physical, more whatever. So, but they are waiting for the new artist engaged to be creative, to bring the role somewhere else. Because it's not writing, the script is not writing. We don't have script, we don't have text. So everything is based on improvisation. And we have to keep it fresh.
Right. And when you're looking, if you go to Algeria or you go, as I said, somewhere else, do you find that each of these countries seem to have a universe of clowning? Or a certain kind of, or is each clown a real individual in that sense, and they can be hugely different within?
They can be different in themselves, but of course, the American are slapstick, or we know the clowns in New York and San Francisco, or it's really physical, but it's really slapstick. You know, they have a certain color, really different than a clown in Paris, for example, or physical actors in Spain, or the Russian clowns, all the Eastern or European clowns. They work differently. They have different way to work. They like. So
the Americans are slapstick, then the Russians will be more.
Will be more dramatic clown.
Okay.
You know, they were more theatrical clown.
Right.
We have a lot of European clowns that are circus clowns, really circus clowns. So they bring another color, another rhythm.
And from Asia, do you have a lot of clowns coming from Asia?
We have great Japanese physical actors, really precise, but that's about it. We
Not
don't
clowns.
have
It's interesting to see where the clowns come from and why Japan.
Clowns are from Europe, and most of them Central Europe, Italian or Spanish. In these cultures, clown have a long history, and it's really a word apart. So yeah, you have clown festivals, you have, you know, it's really important. But for me, the difference is not that great now. It was before. But now the young actors, they are doing clowning as well. The young clown, they are actors as well. So this is more mixed up now. So that's why here, I know that in India, I'm not looking for clowns. I'm looking for actors that are comical actors, people that has timing. They can tell joke with their body. They can, you know, that funny guy. We had a funny guy in audition in Delhi 3 days ago, and it's really like typical, I think, really typical, really rounded eyes, mustache. You know, it's really like dark hair, and a guy that did a lot of theater, I think.
Nobody here with mustache and round eyes, huh?
No, but
that's it, round eyes.
Mustache, round eyes, and really, but everything is done to regard the audition. It was always make me laugh. It was always, he has this experience of, he knows what I want, and he gave it what I want. But he was really funny all the time, and he was playing, and he was never lost. Even if you don't know exactly what I was asking, he always, you know, he was really always trying something, and he was always right. So this is something I'm looking for as well. Yeah. So let's see what I'm looking for. Like, so at Cirque Du Soleil we have, of course, circus performers that are trained in circus school around the world, trapezes. There's really numbers at Cirque. But every music is live, so we need a lot of musicians as well, instrumentalists, guitar players, saxophone players.
And you've had some Indian musicians as part of Cirque Du Soleil.
Yeah, we have a scout that came 2-3 years ago, Andre, and he was scouting the musician, and he found tremendous musicians all around India. So we're presenting those musicians in the new show. Maybe that's our job of scouting, to push the people we found that they can be in a new creation, or this is dancers. We had the singers as well, athletes, as I told you, and other talents. It can be wushu, it can be maybe Malakam. One day would be great to have a Malakam performance on the show.
And you said the first time you got a ventriloquist in the show.
Yeah, well, in Kusa we have a pickpocket. So we have a pickpocket act, which is wonderful.
A pickpocket act?
Yeah, we have a pickpocket act. Just pick someone from the stage, and his watch, his tie, and the guy.
So where did you go to scout for pickpockets?
Well, on the streets of Mumbai. No, it's pickpocketry is a part of the magic world.
Right.
So we have professional pickpockets that are doing that for shows. Not real. They are doing a lot of stage. We know, and this I'm scouting for.
Particularly operators that are very honorable.
We have the creators of the work is Swedish. We have a British guy. We have a German guy. I found a French guy. Now I found a Russian guy.
Well, we're going to find you in India.
Because they have to speak the language. Because they have to talk. So when they did it in Japan, I found a French guy, a French pickpocket, that was speak Japanese, because they need to speak Japanese. When they are in Russia, they have to speak Russian. So if they come to India with Kusa, they will have to find someone that speaks Hindi, or maybe here they will speak English, I think. But you know, so we have to find pickpockets. I'm sorry? Yes, we have some really good minds go, really precise. In Southern Bangkok there were a mine. In Love there's a mine, kind of mine. It's not pure mining. It's not Marcel Marceau. But it's really movement, really precise movement that is near the mining, pantomime.
Pantomime.
Yeah, it's more pantomime than mine. But it's not, like I said, it's not the coup or Marceau type of. It's really more comical and precise. Yeah. Yes?
How long does an artist have to train with your before he starts performing?
How many?
How long
train?
Train with your
I'm going to talk about that just now, okay? I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for as an actor. Is it okay?
Yeah.
So, the main discipline I'm looking for, of course, is comedians. Comedians in the sense of comic people, comedians. And also in the sense of actors in the, theater actors. Physical actors, of course, who develop corps, who work with Goyer or whatever. Mimes. Drag queens, because we have a drag queens in humanity. And it's hard to find because this drag queen is singing, she's acting, she's talking with the public, she's vulnerable, but she's a bitch. She's got everything. And it's really hard to find because often the drag queens are not real singers. They are lip syncing.
Right.
So, but they've got their voice really bad. But they have, so I have to find some good singer as well. So it's really hard to find this position. We have a giant in Corteo, and we have a small person in Corteo as well. And for clown, we have contemporary clown, slapstick clown, and the Russian school, the Lycée. Lycée is a Russian school in St. Petersburg, and they created fantastic clowns, really, really good, and really deep. It's a deep clowning. It's funny as well, but it's more theatrical. It's not based on falling apart or whatever. It's really based on relationship and.
It's not the gags.
It's not the gags. It's more poetic. It's situational. So the skills I'm looking for people. It's complete training in theater, physical theater, commedia dell'arte. This is another thing that, pantalon, these are characters in commedia dell'arte. It's really interesting for me. Mime. And a work experience. I'm targeting around 15 years of experience for the people that are ready for being on the stage of Cirque Du Soleil. It needs a lot of experience. It needs a lot of work.
And it's also experience in terms of being able to have the stamina to perform so much. Because
so much.
A lot of us actors here, physical or otherwise, you don't do that many shows. And we don't work for a year every single day. It's not a profession like that we go to work every day and we do 2 shows and we come out. And that's another stamina and skill altogether. So do you need to hire people who've already been through that kind of exercise?
No, because it's impossible to find. No actors will show with.
We're all unemployed actors.
No, but we have to find that in audition.
Right.
Do we think these actors have enough word, enough big, enough possibility to be able to perform for many shows? This has happened sometimes. I remember a few years ago we had a wonderful young actor from Chicago, really great, he has everything, good movement, tall. So we put him on Barricade to do one of the paper on Barricade, which is really important. And after a year, the artistic director came to me and he said, we won't continue with him after a year. He's great, but after a year he was empty. He gives everything he's got, and he didn't have the métier, the experience to be able to continue. So we stopped, we replaced him, and now I'm still in contact with him, and now he started his company, and he's, so probably in the future I will bring him back at Cirque Du Soleil. But for this particular moment, we had to change him because he wasn't able to continue, because he was giving nothing more than he could. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But this is hard to find in audition. It's really impossible.
To make out whether
it
will last or
yeah.
not. And do you have a system in place for, I don't know if it's like kind of a counseling session, or it's you work with their performance blocks so that they can overcome it and they can find inspiration again?
They have some coaches on the show. Yes, of course, they have a lot of support on the show. To be able
So how long is an actor still with Cirque Du Soleil on a show? Is it a couple of years? You'd say 6 months of creation time?
It's 6 months of creation time. It's 2 years of contract when they start the show, and then it's 1 year renewal. So actors can stay years and years and years and years. Some are, in this tale, we had a clown that stayed 20 years.
It made Cirque Du Soleil.
Yeah. He just died a few few weeks ago.
Oh,
And he was still performing.
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's a true performance.
that's a true performer. He was on stage for 20 years and he was funny. That's the big clown in this there, baby clown. It was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a baby clown. Amazing, saw him. But nobody knew that he was sick. Nobody knows that, but he was a heart attack. He was, and he was 20 years performing. 300 in Vegas, it's about 420 shows a year. It was spent his life on stage, and it was amazing. I saw him like 3 years ago, and it was like the first time he was doing it. He was perfect. He was wonderful.
And it was the same act?
Oh, the same act.
Same act for 20 years. Wow.
This is outstanding.
So there's no unruly setting up, it's fresh each time.
Wow.
Yes. And he was playing with the people, the public. He always played with the public because he was searching his father on the audience. He was pitching the ball, and he was, and then he said, "Oh, Papa, Papa," and he was taking his band and he was playing with them on the stage. Sometimes 2 days a day, 2 times a day. So it was.
He made it fresh.
It was François Dupuis. Wasn't it François Dupuis? He was a guy from Montreal at the beginning. He was really, and he was the origin clown of the show. He never changed. He was there and he wants to stay. And unfortunately, life is like that. But yeah, now they
will get free tickets.
yeah. But now we have to replace him, and it's hard because I have during the years I scouted good clowns that can be replaced him, but they don't want no one that is too much looking like François. They want something different now because they don't want to have everyone is really like touched by this.
But is it often so exhaustive that it takes a toll on their life?
No. It's the first time it happened. No. Normally, clowns they know when to stop.
And you must have a lot of good health and safety.
Yeah. Don't worry. We have a lot of trainers. We have.
They have a lot of insurance.
Yeah, insurance. It's just something that just happened. So it's not everyone at Cirque, but because we are a family, we are a big family, and every show is like a small family in itself. So we know that in this term, everybody's like they're gonna take some months that to recover. We're sure.
But what happens now at the next show?
I'm sorry?
What happens at the next show after he's gone?
That's a good question. In every show we have what we call some backups. Yeah, on Vegas we have some clowns that are on call. So we know that they can, like this, they can replace someone that is sick or whatever. Because the clowns are really important. So we always have backups. On the tour, the backup is done by an acrobat that has some time. Of course, it's not as good as the main, but we have at least someone that can back up them.
Show never stops.
No, it's continued. It never stops. I think they maybe stop the day after, but continue. The show must go on. So they have another clown that came to replace temporarily, but they're gonna take time to bring back a main clown. But there's another clown really good in Mr. Brian D. Words that is still there, and that's our oldest clown. Is 75, I think. Brian. All the artists that can do that. For clowns, it's about some more to sing, but we need an excellent sense of rhythm and also a talent of repartee, abilities to make repartees is really important. Now, so let's see this video. This video we're going to explain a lot of things in itself.
That was uncool. Dude, we're doing an interview, man. You don't drink an interview. What is that rule? I just thought, gotta get them on it. Here, why don't you have fun? Thanks, please. I knew that was coming.
Soleil because I wasn't a clown. And I said, well, I'm not a real clown. So I'm afraid to go there and I find a director that maybe wants one more clowning stuff like this. Roberto Paz is great. He takes from you your best.
We are actually looking for actors. They will think maybe that some of them who studied in theater, classical theater, Shakespeare, Molière, they said, well, no, Cirque doesn't need me because they're looking for clowns. We do need actors, physical actors.
Quand on va en audition, ce qu'on cherche chez l'acteur physique et le clown, c'est premièrement une présence scénique forte, une précision gestuelle qui permet d'avoir une grande visibilité de l'action et une projection émotive qui permet à l'acteur de rejoindre et de toucher le public.
In the end, we're all human.
We're looking for a large variety of clowns. We usually talk about 3 different families. One slapstick, the Russian type, and also the European contemporary type.
We have young characters like the Norman on Love, and this goes up to Brian DeWurst. So I like to say that clowns are like good wine. The older you get, if you're good, the better you will be.
La projection, soit du geste ou de la voix, chaque scène, chaque moment pose un problème de comment on arrivera à rejoindre le spectateur.
Movement equals emotion. Yeah, so we're actually teaching them that the movement comes first. Within the movement comes then the emotion and the energy through the movement.
The tools that you need as an actor to create a role for Cirque are basically bring yourself, do what you do naturally. The biggest stimulus on tour is doing shows, because the shows are very high production value. And we've got 25 or 2,600 people in the audience, 9 or 10 times a week. That's very stimulating.
So we're creating the clown acts here at Cirque. So it affords clowns that have talent to come in and work with us and actually explore finding a character, explore working with other clowns, explore how to actually build a clown routine.
Whenever someone says, oh, I was at Cirque Du Soleil for 2 or 3 years, you know that person's been through a lot. You know they're going to be consistent.
I would like you to hold out your hands like this. Super. I want you to hold this ball in this hand, and this hand you can just have a look like this. Because I want you to hold it up like this. Hold it up like this.
Turn the hand around, open, and show. Oh, that's perfect.
For professional actors that are arriving at Cirque, they're often coming in to learn a personage. So we have some excellent acting coaches that work here for us on our team, and they would have a private acting coach for the period that they're here learning their role.
The best part is the gymnastic regime. Before I did this, I was not a contortionist.
I did not have these abs as you see before you before.
Nope.
Since a few years, we have developed a very interesting website at the casting where you can find information about the clown routines we have, the working environment. Anyone who has access to internet can apply online.
I was in Vegas watching all the Vegas show. And I said, wow, they're fantastic. The clowns are fantastic, the actors are fantastic. You know? I decided to send a video to Cirque Du Soleil, my video, like a joke, you know. Maybe if I am in the Cirque Du Soleil, I can get a discount to see the show.
A good demo doesn't need to be too long, too complicated, or with special effects. It's nice if we see who you are, what you can do with your body, to express an idea, using your clowning, your mime, or even your classic theatrical skills.
People can come and audition, they may not be great in the first audition, they come back again, maybe a few years later they progress, and we go, oh, they're at a level now where we could actually think of putting them in a show.
What is important is we need to know what talent is out there.
Those two clowns, Wayne and Daniel, this is a good example of what we're looking for. Those two clowns were scouted differently. Wayne is an acting clown, funny guy from New York, and Daniel is a guy from LA. So they are really different. But we put them together, and it's like dynamite. They are great, they are funny. They were in Banana Spiel. This was done when Banana Spiel was a new creation, based on circus clown, a lot, slapstick clown. Unfortunately, this show was stopped after a year because it was not succeed in New York City. It's really hard to take New York City, I tell you. And Cirque Du Soleil wants to do that with the vaudeville show, recreate vaudeville at the Reagan Theater, but they stayed many months there, but unfortunately the critic worked really hard for Cirque Du Soleil, and they decided to close the show. But then when they were in their, when we knew that they were closing the show, those two clowns, they were in a hotel in New York, and they were hearing that we were scouting at that time for Zarkana. And the director, François Gérard, he wants to have, for Zarkana, he wants to have Russian clowning. So we were in contact with Russian clowns. They were listed in contact. We made some workshop in Montreal. We were in a contract discussion with two clowns, exactly, but we felt that François wasn't really satisfied. He was really like, in the meantime, those two slapstick American clowns, I mean, they are stupid all the time. And they're great at that. They decide that in their hotel room, they will create a Russian clown. They will do Russian clowning. So they make a video about stupid thing, laughing about Russian clowning, but doing the best they can to do Russian clowning. You know, we received that in Montreal, and we look at that, and everybody at the casting department sees it because it was just crazy, just stupid and funny. So we were laughing, everyone. So we decided to present that to François, to the director. He saw that, and he stopped the negotiation with the other Russian clown, and he said, "Those two are on the show now." Yeah, like that. So they came in Montreal, they created the show, and now they are the two clowns in Zarkana, and they are wonderful. They are great. They create a wonderful act. And the most funny in that is that last year they played Zarkana in Moscow, in the Kremlin Theater. So I can't wait to have their comment how two American clowns did Russian clowning in Moscow. For me, it's incredible. So I can't wait to talk to them to know how they're feeling about that. But this is a small story to tell you that we never know what can happen. timing is just it's not a matter of playing, it's a matter of where you are at the right time in the right moment. For Amaluna, for example, we have a great woman clown that we know for years, Pepa Plana. She's in Barcelona. She's a Catalan clown. She had a festival for years, Festival of Women Clowning. But unfortunately, the festival closed two years ago because of politics. So when I called her for Amaluna, a woman clown in a woman show, she said, yes, what a timing. Otherwise, I'm sure she never would come to Cirque du Soleil. She has his own company, she has his own clowning, she's really well known in Spain. She doesn't have to come to Cirque du Soleil, but the idea of being in a woman show, doing, she's yes, she comes running. So that's the timing, that's pure timing. Otherwise, if I called her for another show, she might say, oh, I'm not available, I don't like that, I don't want to come to Cirque du Soleil. But for that, the timing was perfect. So she came, she's now in the show, and she's wonderful. She's a really great clown.
So I want to ask you, Marc, with Cirque du Soleil, where it is already pretty far out, you're in so many cities, you're hiring from all over the world, your innovation is there, your technology. What is new that is going to come now beyond this from Cirque du Soleil? What more can we expect? Where are you going to take it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You have 1 million people over here.
Yeah, that's it.
No, not where you're going to take it. Not where you.
Yeah.
I mean, to clarify that, it's not where you will bring the show to, but where Cirque du Soleil is in its work, in its.
Now, in these days, because of the economic crisis in the world, it's really hard.
Right.
Now, it took years to hit Cirque du Soleil, but now we are in the middle of that. Right. So we just have to, to pass this crisis.
So economic, economic crisis is affecting, and in what way is it affecting you artistically?
No,
what is the money and the budgets to do things?
We had to close some shows, so
okay.
Because of the crisis. We had to close a show in Japan, we closed a show in Macau.
Right.
Because of the economy, it was terrible. So people, when they don't have money, they don't go to see shows.
Right.
So
do you think then, would there be a downsizing of the way the shows are done?
A little bit. It is now. When I first entered at Cirque, 5 years ago, we were creating 3 shows a year. Now we create 1 show a year. We just downsized a little bit, waiting for the economy to get better, and maybe it depends on the offer, because it's partners that are offering us some new opportunity. Everybody wants to work with Cirque du Soleil. It's high level standard of quality. So, but we develop different things. There's a movie that we just did last year. It's a movie about some shows in Las Vegas, and it's a 3D movie. It just was released a few weeks ago in Montreal, in Japan, and everywhere. So you might have the possibility to see that movie in the cinema here. And it's a good idea to see. It gives a good image of some of the best acts we have in Vegas. So that's another way to.
What's it called?
I'm sorry.
Words away. Cirque du Soleil, words away.
Cirque du Soleil.
Words away.
Words away. Maybe. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's by James Cameron.
Yeah. Thank you. Back to James Cameron. Well, James Cameron produced it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thank you very much. Words away. So. I'm sorry. I've seen the show, but I don't remember.
What is the average length of a Cirque du Soleil show?
Average?
Duration.
Duration.
Yeah. Salted Banco is 20 years.
No, it's what time? The time the audience enters?
2 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry. It depends. In Vegas, it's shorter because there are no entr'actes. So in Vegas, it's about an hour and a half. But the touring show is more. It's about 2 hours because there's an interact. This is about the average of a show.
Marc, what does it cost to watch a show at Cirque du Soleil?
I don't know. I don't pay my ticket.
Is it expensive?
No, it's expensive.
So have a circus, which is like, like circus in Bombay. You can see Rambo circus, you can go Raymond circus, touring circus. To 200 rupees, 50 rupees, 150 rupees. And then, I mean, it's accessible, and circus is, I mean, traditionally even in India, when it's done in Kerala.
No, Cirque Du Soleil is very expensive.
So you've lost, I mean, how much?
You have to compare to the opera house.
It depends. I know in Montreal, I know in Canadian dollar in Montreal, the cheapest ticket is $30.
That's reasonable.
That's fine, but the highest one would be like around 80. No. Sorry?
Yeah.
And in Vegas is around $100 for a show.
30 to 80 years.
But all the shows in Vegas are expensive, so they're following. But in Vegas,
you better do well in the casino to watch a Cirque Du Soleil show.
They are following. I can say they are following the international price. Like a ticket for a Cirque Du Soleil show is more expensive in Montreal than in New York City, because in New York City when they're playing there, they have to take in, they have to see what's happening around. They cannot come and put the ticket at $300 when there's another show besides at $35. So they have to take into account what's happening around.
So if you bring a show to India, or say Bombay or Delhi, how long would you run the show for, and what would be the cost of putting up a show in a place like Bombay?
Certainly it has enough people, I think, to be able to hand at least a month in every city. So they will stay like 3, 4, 5 weeks.
4, 5 weeks?
Yeah, of course. I don't think they will bring a big top show for now, but they will probably start with the arena show. So yeah. When I first planned to come to audition here in January, it was scheduled because we have like we say a pre-schedule of the show for the next years. So I was looking at the pre-schedule and I see Mumbai and Delhi. So I said that's my time I was waiting for to come to have my audition. Unfortunately, during the year, these two dates in Delhi and in Mumbai disappeared. I don't know why, but it tells me there's a volunteer to come. So that's why I decided to come anyway. But I think I'm precursor. I come before the show. But I think probably it will come in the next years or so.
Why haven't you had any shows in India until now? Has it been the economics of it or what?
It's because before I did the arena type of show, when I arrived at Cirque 5 years ago, we just started that process of having arena show. Because before the touring show was just a big club, and a big club show is really a big deal to bring. So that's why they need a really large audience, and also they have to prepare. Like here in India, there's a few people that know Cirque Du Soleil. Though they have to make an entrance in the territory. They have to put something, and then they will see how it will respond, and then they can go for it. This is happening in Japan. They start slowly, but now every show goes in Japan. They wait years and years and years before getting to Paris. But then, yeah, they went to Paris for the first time, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Because they were afraid to be here to see in Paris.
They're harsh in Paris.
But then now they open in Paris, and now every show passed by Paris, and they have great reviews, and so they go slowly in every territory. They open slowly the markets everywhere. But I think it's more because India is far away from Montreal, from Canada, so they have to pass by Japan first, and China, and so. But I think there's a really interest by Cirque Du Soleil to go everywhere it's possible, to bring a show everywhere possible.
You are never part of the cultural troop which keeps coming from country to country. You have been part of that?
Me?
No, this.
I think it's a mixture of everything. That's why it's so successful. We mixed, like in Pusa, the singer was Indian. We had an Indian singer in Pusa. We have different type of performer from everywhere. And that's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so interesting to see, because because it's a mixture. It's not an American show, it's not a European. It's a mixture of Asia, Europe, America. There's a lot of Brazilian acrobats in every show. Now, it's a mixture of all. I think that's the strength of Cirque du Soleil, to be able to touch any audience from everywhere, because without using the word.
Created a universal language.
That's it.
We have 2 more questions and then we're going to have to wrap up, and we've got one more video that Mark's going to show. 2 more questions. Anybody?
I just want to tell you, when you're doing a show in India, just be careful of Bollywood, because we don't want to see a clown do balle balle.
That's a good point. We don't want to see Bollywood in some
We already have.
It would be
That's it. But in OVO, then we have a show, OVO. The end, the last number, we call that Bollywood. Because the music is the Bollywood style, the dance is Bollywood style. So we already have Bollywood in our shows. Yeah.
A last question. After comment on this last question.
Do you see bringing the technical aspect of Cirque du Soleil and the Avid areas, the arenas here, as being a challenge? Where
It
will you
is.
do it
Of
in
course it
Bombay?
is. It is. Well, they will probably bring all their stuff.
But in Bombay, where would you perform?
Beauty station.
Victoria Station? Yeah, in a big, you probably have a big basketball stadium, inside stadium, like basketball place or.
And you bring all the technical.
Oh yes, of course. You won't recognize your stadium when the show sings.
But for a month, that's a lot of effort.
That's it. So maybe there's another disponibility. It depends on the disponibility. They won't come just for a few weeks. They will stay for a longer.
The best thing to do is make a show called O, where there is water, right? So just do it in Marine Drive and we'll see.
Don't show and for touring. Let me, if you allow me, let me continue just a little moment, because I have something interesting to talk to you about. Our headquarters in Montreal. At the end, I will start just a video about explaining where we're working. It's really interesting. But now I just want to show you some of the theaters we're having. This theater we have, La Liberté, and it's on water. So you can do onedrop.org and see all the projects that they have throughout the world to find water in Africa and South America. And there's one project here in India, in Orissa, and I'm going to visit that project after my audition in Mumbai. I'm going to travel to Bhubaneswar, and I'm going to give them, the artists that are working with the One Drop project, I'm going to give them a workshop, a puppeteer workshop, to help them on their activity in the villages. Because in Orissa, what's happened is that there's a non-government agency, Indian, that is working on the villages to provide the water. But One Drop is coming to help and to give an artistic twist on those projects. And they bring some artists from India working with the kids, with the women, on the water problem, prior of bringing the water in the villages. So it's really what One Drop is doing. So I think it's really important. And all the premiere of every show around the world of Cirque du Soleil, all the money goes to One Drop. We, as an employee, we are doing a lot of things during the year to give some of the money to One Drop. So it's a One Drop Foundation is really linked with Cirque du Soleil all the time. So let's just take just 1 minute, but I think it's a nice video to see. So maybe we can answer some question, I think. We have some, we have more time.
At the audition, does the actor come with an original act, or is it a process that you guys put us through?
It's a good question. For the audition process, we are inviting people, so it's on invitation. People here in Mumbai, they were pre-selected by some contacts that we're having here. Of course, if they can bring something from them or doing a number, of course we ask them for a number. But it's a complete day audition process. So I'm working with the artist and I ask them to improvise on different canvas. It can be 1 by 1, it can be 2 by 2, and it's a selection throughout the day. So I will start maybe with 25, 30 actors in the morning, and it's a group audition, so everybody will work together. There will be the spectator of the other one, so I'm trying to create a good atmosphere of working. It's not a competition, because they're not competing for the same role, it's for in general. And then after the day is ending, I can finish with 4, 5, 1 potential artists. That will be my job then to represent at Cirque Du Soleil, to present for the new creation. So that's why we're filming everything. And coming back to Montreal, I'm editing the best images of the day, and this will be my material for the future use.
Also, yeah, it does. And also, I just did a question. Also, does 15 years of work experience mean the youngest one can enter Cirque Du Soleil is 30 years?
Oh no, we have characters in, it depends. It's from 20 to 75, let's say. But of course at 20, we have some roles for really young actors. But it's so particular. Sometimes we can find really wonderful talent that is 20 years old. I remember I made an audition in New York a few years ago. The guy was just finishing his school, but he was a wonderful buddy, wonderful worker, a great actor. So he was on car 6 months after that, because we had the replacement. Nemo was leaving. I presented this guy and said he's perfect. So he was there. He just left, and he was like 3 years on the show. So it can happen for a young actor. But normally, yeah, around 30, 40, for me, it's the best age to have an actor or an actress.
In Kidam, there is a small girl. Is she?
No, it's in Corteo. The small lady?
No,
Oh, in Kidam, the singer. We have a singer. It's a good question. We had a singer. She was minor. So we have to change the singer. Every time every time this role was the main role, and it was a kid. But the moment she was starting to grow, we had to change her. So we were in permanent audition for that role. And they have to bring their family on the tour. Now, this because it's an arena show now, Kidam, it's no longer a young artist. It's a major artist, but really small. So now it's a young artist. I think she's 19. But now she's no longer a child. But because she's really small, she looks like a child. Because we cannot bring child into arena tour because it's like a big rock and roll show. It's impossible to get to all the places. Yeah, there's a question.
Marc, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. I just have one question on Cirque Du Soleil. How do your artists manage to balance their professional and personal life with 420 shows in a year? I mean, do they burn out? How do they manage? Do their wives say enough? Or what is their husband?
That's great. That's a good question.
And their children?
For the show in Vegas, they live in Vegas. They have their house. The kids are going to school.
So you allow the family to be?
Yes, of course. There are some kids and there are some young boys, 4 young boys that play in the show Love. Okay? So because they're playing at night, Cirque Du Soleil provides a school for them where there are 6. There are 4 characters, but there are 6 kids. And there's others family that are choosing the same. So we almost have a small school at the Cirque Du Soleil headquarters in Vegas. For the people that are touring in Big Top, they are allowed to bring their family. and we're providing schools for kids.
So you give all the support
Yeah.
for their family?
For the tour. The only moment that we can't is the arena show. So most of the people that are working, they don't bring their family. But for people like clown that are really high talented clown, but we try to do some rotation, just 6 months, 6 months. So they can be 6 months with us, 6 months with their family. So we try to.
So they can go back home.
Yes, of course. Yeah. There's some dark period of, there's some vacation. There's some dark, in between two cities, they have like 3 weeks breaks. They can go back home, or they can travel the world if they want, but yeah, Cirque Du Soleil is trying to keep the families and everything.
That's great. That's sorry. I just wanted to know when you're so busy, how do you
Yes,
manage?
Sometimes the artists are married in the show. You know, they meet them, they're married, and so they perform together. Yeah. Or sometimes I know some artists that wife or husband are technician, so they can provide a job for the. So they're living in. It's a true life.
On the Cirque Du Soleil website, you can actually follow some of the artists, all the artistic directors, the musicians, and they talk about their day-to-day lives. Like, so one of the actors says, I wake up at 5 in the morning, I cook breakfast for my child, drop him to school, I then do something, I do all my paperwork and bank work and all of those things. I land up at work at 4, the show is at 6:30, and you can it's quite an insight into how they're living, and it's like having a proper job.
There is an amazing documentary, The Fire League.
Wait, please. Yes?
Tomorrow and right now, are you recruiting only for clowns and actors particularly, or jugglers and performing artists and everyone?
This is a good question. Here, like I'm the acting specialist, so I'm really targeting the actors and clown for this time. But of course, if you are a performer, you can go online, put your things for if you are a juggler or a circus performer or a aerialist, because we are always searching for new talent, and all the time I'm a scout, because they may come in India or they may just by video be able to evaluate your performances. So we are scouting the world all the time. Yeah.
It has to be through video.
Yeah, now in India, yes. But who knows for the future, maybe they will come to make circus audition or acrobatic audition one day, we don't know now. Yes?
This one drop competition is only in India or which other?
No. We have, if you go to the website, we have one drop project in Central America, South America, Africa. We have one project in Vietnam, I think, as well. So in India, yes, in Orissa. It's the first time we have a project in India.
So, Mark, should we end question? Just show your video of the facilities, and then what we can do is later, there's a beautiful video just to see what these guys have in terms of support. If you want to watch, and if you have any other questions, you can, Mark will do like a free chat later. You can hang around and ask him whatever you need to ask. Is that good, Asa? Or do you want to do a closing?
No, that's fine. Thank you, Mark and Yuki, for this fun and informative session. And thank you all for being here. Moving along, Avid is bringing various dance and theatre workshops with SNDA, which include Broadway jazz, physical theatre, contact improvisation, contemporary dance duets, and Afro-modern dance. These workshops will conclude in an informal show, Razzmatazz, on 22nd December. And more information on this is available at the registration desk outside. So please do come, please do participate and come for more Avid workshops. Thank you all. And you all can stay and watch this video.
Yes, so that video, it gives some images of where I'm working in Montreal, how we work, how the studios are. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Our headquarters in Montreal. It's where everything starts, so the creation, costume making, and also all the artist training.
It's really the mecca of creativity.
Quand tu as réussi, tu te rends compte à quel point il y a tant d'employés, tant de monde qui font fonctionner, c'est impressionnant.
Is the place where we produce all of our shows.
At Cirque Du Soleil, we welcome high-level athletes and we work with them and train them so that they become exceptional artists.
The majority of our artists are coming from a sports background, gymnastic background.
We also cast circus performers, dancers, musicians, singers, clowns, and actors that are at the pinnacle of their art. During their integration, artists live in our residence located across the street from our studio.
Je crois qu'on les pousse très fort et on les encadre beaucoup. Il y a des cours de jeu, il y a des cours de danse, il y a des cours de percussion. Ils doivent apprendre à se maquiller, donc produire leur propre maquillage. Ils peuvent avoir même des cours d'anglais pour les gens qui viennent de l'étranger.
When I came here, I couldn't understand anything.
Постепенно у нас были классы.
Little by little, we had classes.
Немножко. Можно сказать, сейчас я почти говорю.
Easier, and now I can practically speak.
Il y a vraiment tout un enveloppe autour d'eux. Ils ont des plans de fonctionnement physique personnalisés. Ils ont souvent des cours de pilates, de yoga, ils ont des physios à leur disponibilité. Mais une vraiment équipe au niveau médical aussi qui nous suit.
At Performance Medicine, we do many things. We offer physiotherapy, massotherapy, nutrition, psychology, and Pilates. It is a lot of people to take care of.
They help a lot. When I heard even little bit, they fixed me right away. Очень непривычно, потому что у нас
Very unusual because
в моем спортзале
in our gym,
ничего этого не
we don't have all of this.
Well, look at this place. It's like, it's huge.
Много различных оборудований, которые помогают.
Many different things, lots of equipment that helps you.
As a dancer and a gymnast, I'm not used to like really being around like the full-on acrobatics of the trapeze and like the Russian swing, which is like a monster, where people are like flying everywhere.
C'est un environnement incroyable. Les gens qui rentrent ici, qui viennent d'ailleurs dans le monde, sont estomaqués un peu de voir l'emplacement. C'est gigantesque, beaucoup d'espace. Moi, je dirais que la qualité ici, bon, elle est supérieure. Puis au niveau de tout ce qui est appareil acrobatique, je crois qu'on est au top là, dans le monde au niveau de la sécurité.
When new creators arrive, I always think they must feel they found Avi's treasure cave because we have everything here, and it's top of the line. Creators must feel that everything is possible.
In the costume workshop, we have the store, we have the shoe workshop, hats and wigs, textile design, props, and also the actual costume making workshops.
Chaque costume est unique et chaque costume est fait à l'image de l'artiste.
We'll take about 100 measures of their bodies.
Chaque artiste a sa tête ici. Vous voyez sa tête? Alors si l'artiste est à l'extérieur, on n'a pas à le faire venir.
The studio environment offers a fantastic living environment. Wherever you go, you can feel creativity, you can smell it, you can touch it, because that's what we're about. And the people contribute to that.
Actually, my best place in this building is the cafeteria. Why? Because that's where people meet. It's great food. It's a fun place to be. You can hear Russian in the cafeteria, Portuguese, Spanish, French, English. But also, it's a place where you can learn about what the other do. And this plays an important role.
Everybody is always so happy, you know, everybody talks to each other.
Everybody are really friendly and happy to be here. I mean, we work a lot, but the ambience, the vibe, it's good. Yeah. Ici, c'est spécial. On est comme une grande famille dans un village.
Cirque du Soleil, it's a very integrated company where we believe that we do business, that we're creative, and we're a good citizen. We try to take our decision taking that into account.
We decided to come to Quartier Saint-Michel because it's a disadvantaged neighborhood.
It fits with our values. We want to be actors of change. So we decided that it would be best to be close to the community, and we got involved in the community.
As far as environment, it's very important to us here at Cirque. So we do compost, recycling. We also recuperate rainwater, and that water is reused. We also have our own gardens where we grow vegetables that we use in our 2 cafeterias.
The reason why we decided to be a good citizen is because we are citizens. Being a company and making money, anybody can do. Being a company, being a good citizen, and being creative, not everybody can do. So we're quite proud of that accomplishment.
It's really incredible to be able to work with people that come from all over the world.
How different it is, the eclectic. It's a lot of it's me being a straight up guy from Texas to Los Angeles, now taking in the French, the whole Québécois, the vibe, the style, and me being around other people from other countries, like the Russians and the Japanese. I loved it because it's just a lot of learning and appreciating different people.
Yeah, I would say you should come. It's good to be here. Now it's my second home. It's new life. So
it's a lifetime of memories and friendships that I couldn't trade for, like in the world. So that's been the best part of Cirque Du Soleil.
Thank you very much.